welcome. We're glad that you're here today. Now, a lot of great things ahead for us this spring, so let's get to those.
Yeah, right out of the chute, we're starting a marriage series in the 11 o'clock service called Happily Ever After.
That's right.
It's going to be a great series. Good sermon titles such as Once Upon a Time for Today, There's a Witch Behind That Apple, Of Frogs, Princes, and Ogres, Taming the Beauty and Your Beast, and even more. So you are not going to want to miss it. And we want to ask you to mark April 18th and 19th on your calendar, because that day we're going to go over to Rockwell and have a marriage retreat.
Right.
There's some information about that in your bulletin today that you're going to want to check out, and you are not going to want to miss the Once Upon a Time, Happily Ever After marriage retreat.
All right, I hope you plug into all the things that are going on with our sermon series tied up with marriage. But if you're in the first service, or the series just didn't really apply to you, then I would encourage you to come to the early service at 8:30 for our series, Our Top 7. This is the first time that we've split series, but we just felt like the marriage thing kind of was very specific to maybe a certain group of folks in the church, but there's lots of other people who would enjoy this series, and we asked people all over the church, what are your favorite passages from God's Word? And we're preaching through our top 7 all across this spring. Today, of course, was number 7. You already know what that is by now. Next week will be number 6, and we're going to conclude on Mother's Day with the number 1, the favorite passage in God's Word for First Baptist Church of Kaufman. Our top 7, all spring long in the 8:30 worship service.
Hey, Brent, do you know what you get when your calendar and the softball collide?
I have no idea.
The camp dates for youth camp, they have to change.
Right.
Yeah, you see, there's a big softball weekend the same time as the camp, and we don't want those kids to miss out. And
right.
so, if you have youth, you need to know that the camp dates have moved up a week. So go ahead and mark that on your calendar. The dates are available in your bulletin, so make sure you take a look at that.
All right, lots of guys and girls are already signed up for the camp. If you haven't taken care of that for your high schooler, please do that right away. All right, little explanation. This is the Kool-Aid Man, an important American icon for generations. Everybody knows the Kool-Aid Man. But last week, when we threw this out on Easter Sunday morning, some people were scratching their heads and they were trying to say, what does the Kool-Aid Man have to do with the cult study? Right. Well, see, I'm a theologian guy. I read a lot of the Bible stuff. Jim Jones, remember the Kool-Aid drinking thing?
I do.
Right. So that's the whole connection, cults and Kool-Aid, right? And so tonight we're going to kick off this series. We're going to have an introductory sermon tonight, and Steve's going to be leading us across the next several Sunday nights, taking a look at things like Scientology. That's Tom Cruise's big deal, you know. The Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormonism, Mitt Romney's gig, right? Wicca, some of the cult kind of things like that. I hope that you'll come to be a part of that. That's at 6 o'clock on Sunday nights, beginning tonight.
Hey, I brought you a special treat.
Oh, did you?
I did. Look. Time for tea.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So, you know I like tea. I like
good.
tea. And here, let me help you. Would you like 1 lump or 2?
2 lumps, please.
Okay.
Now, this is all about the...
Hey, it's funny this morning. A little humor on the morning update, right?
Right.
Well, this tea is to remind us about the ladies' spring brunch that is going to be Saturday, May 3rd at 10 o'clock in the fellowship hall. You know, it's going to be a brunch. There's going to be a lot more than just tea there, but you, ladies, are not going to want to miss this. So you need to sign up for that at the Welcome Center, the ladies' spring brunch on Saturday, May 3rd.
All right, that is great. Now, one last announcement. All right, let's talk a little bit about the youth building. We are making such great progress toward this thing, and nobody wants to break ground on this project more than your site development team. However, in the last couple of weeks, we have had some new developments that have happened in our community, opportunities we did not know were coming, and it has kind of slowed the progress. One of those we've kind of worked through. The second one is tied up with the likelihood that there is going to be a new civic center on the location of the old horse plant, which is really quite a miracle, and we'll talk about all that more later if it comes to pass. But the city has approached our church about the possibility of negotiating a shared parking agreement with them in order to support the civic center's location on the horse plant site. And of course, we want to accommodate that, but it has kind of thrown things into a little bit of a tailspin, because we've had to go and to take a look at, well, then where do we really want to put the building? Do we need to move it to accommodate the city's wishes? So we've had to go back to the civil engineer, back to the site planner in order to talk through these things. So we don't want to break ground on the building until we know exactly where the buildings will be located. So we need a few more weeks to get all this worked out. And again, we are so sorry for this, but really, this is one of those deals where you want to measure twice and cut once. I mean, we obviously don't want to build a building on the wrong spot. So please be patient as we try to work these things out, and we'll get back to you with details when they're settled, and then we can get in and break ground and begin on the new youth building. We're all very excited about that.
These are exciting times for our church.
Lots of great things going on. Glad that you're in Sunday school this morning. We will see you in worship.